BITS Pilani Digital and News18 present Learning Reimagined.
Hello and welcome to our special feature, BITS Pilani Digital and News18 present Learning Reimagined. We are right in the middle of a very intense exam season, and thousands of students and parents are standing at a crossroads asking a familiar question. What comes once exams get over? What kind of education will truly prepare students for an uncertain, fast changing future after school? For a long time, higher education has been closely associated with physical campuses, rigid formats, and one fixed path. But today, learning is being reimagined. Online education is no longer about convenience alone, it's about relevance, access, and outcomes. Quality in education today is defined by how well it prepares learners for real careers, evolving industries, and a world shaped by technology and AI. Few leaders are better placed to discuss this shift than Mr. Rajiv Tandon, CEO of BITS Pilani Digital. With decades of experience across education, technology, and industry, he is helping extend the legacy of BITS Pilani into a digital first future without compromising on academic rigor. Welcome, Mr. Tandon.
Thanks so much for inviting me. It's wonderful being here.
Thank you so much. Let's start our conversation with the, very basic fact that many students in our country are always thinking about their next step, what to do after school, and that is the ultimate big challenge for them. So for those students, how should they think about quality first and foremost in higher education today, and especially when we are considering online programs for them?
So, Preeti, I could answer this in a very obvious manner. I'm from an institution with a great heritage. We're kind of our genesis is more than a century old. And my answer could be the most obvious ones. Look at the track record, look at the history. I could tell you, look at the faculty credentials. I can tell you, look at the infrastructure, facilities. All that is valid. I'm not saying that's not valid. That's valid. But I think in today's time, that answer is incomplete. In fact, if I have to advise the students of today, I would say, number one, look at the learning experience itself. Does it have something which I call as connection? That means, is the learning experience connected to life and work? If maths and stats is being taught, is it related to taking decisions? It is related to solving actual work or life problems. If chemistry is being taught, is it related to choosing what materials you will use, what kind of air you will breathe, what kind of water you will drink? If physics is being used, it should not be just about laws. It should be about how a bridge is standing, how a particular mobile phone still fits in your palm. So this whole connection, in the learning experience is extremely important, because you will agree, Preeti, that connection makes a person curious.
Right.
And then the learning actually becomes a joy. It is not seen as a toil. So that's number one. Connection is extremely important. The second extremely extremely important thing that they should look at, it also incidentally starts with the, letter C, which is all about challenge. We are also living in an age where I think a lot of conveniences are available to us. But I would say, when you're looking at education, see the education experience in terms of, does it challenge you? Is it just about, familiar subjects, predictable assessments and exams, grading which is generous? In fact, world is today reeling under, grade inflation, right? So I think the challenge, is it really making you solve something unfamiliar, making you do things, which you have not done in the past? So this whole, angle of challenge is extremely important.
Right.
Because without that, you would forget all what you've learned. Because wherever you actually spend time and, learn, that also stays with you. So that's extremely important. Third, I would say equally important, is a word which I call as capability. And everyone is talking about knowledge. People are talking of skills. But knowledge is what you know today and it can change tomorrow. Skills also have a currency for a short period. But what will stand for you in the future is, do you have capability? That means when knowledge is obsolete, when you're all alone without books, without instruction manuals, can you still stand on your own? So does the education experience make you capable? So capability is extremely important. And the last but not the least is what I call as care. And care does not mean soft care. Care means in the education system is somebody looking at when you are struggling, when you are kind of stable, somebody is pushing you to do more. When you're going adrift, I think education institution learning experience should also put you back onto the right path. So care is important. So four things which are extremely important: connection, challenge, capability, and care, which everyone needs to take care of.
That's a very interesting way of answering my first question, because you yourself are saying that it's good to think about your convenience, but at the same time, you should also think about the fact that whether you are getting challenged properly or not, how it's helping you develop your capability while caring about all the other aspects at the same time. So that brings me to my second question. At BITS Pilani Digital, what are the absolute non negotiables when it comes to academic quality and the outcomes that you see?
I think the central philosophy, when we were setting up BITS Pilani Digital, was that which will be non-negotiable for everything, that our education has to be anchored to work and life. We will build everything which is anchored around actual work and the life that the student is going to lead in the future. That anchoring is important. And how are we doing it? I think the number one thing is the industry relevance of our curriculum. I'm sure, Preeti, you're hearing about a lot of people graduate with degrees, but those degrees are like paper tigers. They don't really actually make them successful. There is a lot of statistics around how many graduates are unemployable today.
True.
So there is no point doing something which is not really asked by the industry. So industry relevance is top of our priority, and industry relevance is seen very seriously in BITS Pilani. That's number one. Number two thing, that we also make sure is imparting industry grade problem solving capability. One thing which, a lot of time employers keep on telling colleges and universities is that when people come with, join them, it takes a couple of years for them to start solving real life challenges in the industry. Because what is done in the colleges is, toy projects, simple projects, data sets are small, problems are simpler. So what we are making sure is that right from day one, in BITS Pilani Digital, exposure to industry grade projects is done very, very strongly.
That's great.
And that's also not in a very simple manner. If I tell you, for example, if it's a 4-year program, a 4-year program would have about 12 trimesters. Can you imagine? I'm sure you've gone to college and university in your time.
Yeah.
In 12 trimesters, there are 11 industry grade projects.
Okay.
There are
that's
11
great.
industry grade projects. So it is not just a question of quantum, but imagine picking up those problems, from the industry and really offering that, to them. Third thing that we also focus very, very strongly is that our assessments are molded towards rigor. Our assessments are not about, memorize something and answer it. I think it tests people on, how have they really understood a concept to solve a real life problem. So we have, of course, what we call as formative assessments. That means which, encourage people to improve their thinking. Then there are also, of course, summative assessments, which are checking the depth of knowledge. That's something which is extremely important. We also believe that one of the another non-negotiable for us is that mentoring has to be there for across the time the student stays with us. And what we offer is what we call as dual mentorship. That means mentorship not just coming from professors, who are very high quality faculty members of BITS Pilani, but also industry professionals, because eventually people have to go and find their life in the industry. So the mentorship, goes on right from the year 1 to year 4, being delivered both by the faculty as well as the industry professionals.
I think you are drawing a very clear line here that BITS Pilani online courses are not for those who are just looking for a time pass course. It is going to prepare you for real life situations and give you a learning that is preparing you for a career ahead. I think that's very important because a lot of people have this impression that online courses are not taken seriously. But the kind of curriculum and the kind of rigors that you make your students go through ensures that they are well prepared for the industry.
Absolutely.
Now, Mr. Tandon, I want to understand that, as the education system is evolving, educational institutions are evolving, but students are also evolving. A student today is juggling studies with internships, work, some other responsibilities, even at home. So, how do you support this reality while still holding students, to come true to the high academic standards that you set for them?
Preeti, we don't just, support it, we actually encourage it.
Okay.
We are living in a time, I don't know if you've been hearing about industries saying that fresher jobs are going down. Okay. And they already want people who have some experience or the other. So the fact that students are trying internships, the fact that people are working and side by side pursuing higher education is something which needs to be encouraged.
Right.
And time is actually the scarcest resource. If there is a enterprising student who wants to do more things, in fact, in some of our current cohorts, a very large number of students are also pursuing another degree in a campus somewhere.
At the same time.
And they are parallelly pursuing our program.
Okay.
Now, we want to encourage this spirit because we know that 3-4 years after they, go out, the fact that they have done more with their time is going to be hugely valuable. But to a very important thing, do we do this by diluting anything? The answer is a big no. Okay. We don't dilute anything. We have just designed the learning experience in a manner that the dilution would not occur. For example, we take a lot of time. I talked about those Dr. Kolbs and all that. There is asynchronous learning.
Okay.
That means all those principles of learning have been developed into creating, self-paced learning material, which people can go through any time of the day. That does not mean you are skipping learning, right? It's only that you're getting flexibility.
You can do it at your own pace.
And your assessments are formative. So you can't skip anything. You
Right.
have to, we do our, the live classes during weekends. Now that supports people who are working because weekends are off for them. But doesn't mean the class is not happening. Okay. It does not mean that the examinations will not happen every 2 or 3 weeks. There'll be a formative assessment. They have to give those assessments. The projects are there. They have to work in teams. They have to solve those industry-grade projects. But it does not mean coming at a very specific time or being connected with a very specific geography and location and do that. So we free them with those. And remember, these people are dynamic. Okay, they want more out of their time. And they want to do valuable things. They just don't want to do easy things. They let me add another thing. So that's the kind of students we want to encourage and support.
Okay, now let's talk about the role of faculty here.
Okay.
We are talking about the evolving role of students and how they want to utilize their time to the best of their ability. But what about the role of faculty? How has that evolved in an online first learning environment that we are all living in now? And what does great teaching look like today when you see that from an online perspective?
Sure. So, see, my sense is with technology coming, really proliferating, okay, it has impacted teaching a lot, but the importance of teaching has not got diminished. It's only, as you said, how has the role changed? That role has got transformed. Remember the time, when information was scarce, it made sense that a faculty's job was to provide information. Remember the lectures?
Yes,
right?
of course, yeah.
Because information was not available, okay? So the job of a professor or a teacher was to give that information, and it used to work in that particular time. Today, people can even explanations. I know a lot of people who just go to AI today, okay, and are learning new things completely on their own. Now, in a scenario like that, the role of the faculty can't be conducting lectures, right? What is the role of the faculty? Role of the faculty is to literally act like a designer of a learning environment. And that's the learning environment which will help a student acquire those capabilities which are required for the future that, some people are excited about, some people are fearing. For example, everyone is saying you should have thinking ability, okay? Now, we know we are all humans, we can think, okay? But getting into the habit of critical thinking, okay? When you hear a fact, Do you question it? When somebody states a problem, do you take into account multiple, ways of solving it, right?
Yeah.
So many, or things like judgment,
Or
right?
critical analysis.
Or critical analysis.
Yeah.
Now, faculty's role is to see that from that subject matter, information dissemination would happen automatically. But they have to curate an environment where people are pushed to think critically. They creatively find new solutions, so that once they go out, they just don't go with information. They go out with capability. So that's the role, Preeti, which the new age faculty members in the technology-based learning space, are performing.
But here, once again, the naysayers or the critics of
Yeah,
online
yeah,
programs
yeah.
would say that can this method of teaching truly substitute the kind of energy, the exposure, the experience that one has in a physical campus?
I frankly love this question because you know that BITS has multiple campuses. We are known for our campuses. People sometimes just go and visit our campus.
Of course, yeah.
So the power of a campus can never be undermined. I would say a good learning environment. A campus is also a learning environment. A good institution's learning environment in a campus is doing three things. One, it is creating, I would say, a sense of belonging. This whole thing about, I'm a Bitsian and, this whole community thing. Second is exposure. When you're in a campus, you meet students, you meet different kind of faculty members. Exposure is something that you get. And third is this, pressure to be something, okay? Because you're also looking at, bright people all around you trying to do this. Now at BITS Digital, okay, when we thought of, designing our learning environment, we said we can't do what a campus is doing, okay? But can't we reimagine? How do you give these three things in a technology space? Can't we use technology because ultimately people want that, right? So there's this, of course, this whole thing about belonging, okay? We know that, technology has really has now taken strides. Building smart, interactive online communities is possible, okay?
Correct.
If it is done thoughtfully,
Yeah.
seeding discussions, organizing events, many things are possible by leveraging technology to do, give that sense of belonging, to people.
Okay.
Second is exposure. I think we are doing a far better job than majority of the campuses here in India. I'm excluding, let's say, some of the top tier ones, okay? Today in BITS Pilani Digital programs, students are learning from 18 countries.
Wow.
Now imagine the exposure you get in terms of the number of people
The
who are
scope is so much bigger.
and the exposure in terms of industry. I talked about industry grade projects.
Yeah.
Okay. So that whole mentoring, the whole industry grade projects, drawing from the industry, updating curriculums, it's become far easier to give that exposure. So that's something which online does far better. So this whole thing about exposure, it's extremely important. Okay. Of course, there's this whole thing about becoming. Okay. We have, as I said, we have two cells, which work on making sure that people are progressing towards their career goals. One is a cell which we call as learner success and engagement, which is constantly watching you. In fact, here in a campus, nobody would be watching you. But remember, we are digital, so data is produced in tons. That means you know how much time have you spent, okay, solving a problem. Did you really do that exercise that week? And very quickly, the learner success team, goes to people and tell them that we are watching you, buddy. Okay, you need to push yourself, or you're doing very well, encouraging them. And Ignite Cell is all about preparing. It's like not a placement division that people know, a placement division which starts working from day one.
Okay.
That means, bringing in those capabilities which are required eventually by the industry, which are outside the curriculum. So preparing them for that. As long as we are doing these three things, online, offline, it's just a matter of what your preference is.
All right, Mr. Tandon, now let's shift our focus and talk about industry access and employability. So online education is reaching far and wide. It's beyond the limitations of geography. How is this changing the talent pipeline for Indian industry?
I think there's a huge, profound difference it is making. Because if you notice, a lot of industries are trying to spread themselves. And one of the huge challenges that they're facing is there availability of local talent. I think online, with its new ability to impart those skills far and wide, has the promise of creating that capacity in different geographies. We already know that, especially for the working professionals, online is almost become mainstream.
Yeah.
Now, the same thing can also happen for, college students, and then they can very quickly upskill, okay, with latest technologies, latest skills using online. So one, it'll do that. Second, I think most of the industries, I don't know if you've heard of this quote which says, every industry is going to be the AI industry now.
Yes, you're right.
That means if you could be a oil and gas or a metal or retail or banking or finance,
Yes.
the technology is proliferating everywhere. That also means that the tech skills and domain skill combination, okay, would be needed in much higher numbers. There was a time that this was needed in the typical IT hubs, Bangalore, Gurgaon, Hyderabad,
Yeah.
Chennai. But now it's needed everywhere. In fact, a lot of IT companies in India, they're opening tier 2, tier 3 cities, they are setting up development centers. So it's extremely important that, people are learning tech apart from just learning certain domains, because that's the intersection which the industry wants. You no longer can be just, a chemical engineer. You also need to understand the, tech or the AI side of it. And that's happening everywhere.
That's an important point, and I'm glad that you touched on it because there is always this growing anxiety around AI, automation, and the changing job roles that are evolving now with the times. So, a lot of students today worry about the fact that will their degrees become, redundant in 5 years' time? Will these degrees still matter or not? So, in the light of that anxiety, how do online degrees really contribute to real-time employability and future-ready skills of our students?
Let me first address the anxiety question. Okay, I think it is valid because we are all human, and the kind of narratives all around with AI taking over jobs. There are also many credible reports which are talking about the jobs which are being done today is being replaced by AI. But if you just unlayer it and understand it, maybe the anxiety will go away. See, what is happening is not job displacement. In reality, what is happening is jobs transformation. If there are millions of jobs going away, there are also many millions which are coming now. I think this
Getting created.
World Economic Forum report 2025. They talk. I don't know quote statistics, but the new jobs are far more than the jobs getting displaced. I think the bigger question is, whether we'll be ready for those kind of jobs. Let me give you, so it's displacement is not the main thing. It is a transformation, which is a happy thing. That means more jobs, we transform jobs.
Okay.
Let me also give you another happy news. Okay. Many people, in India, especially, all organizations are like a pyramid, especially entry level jobs were all about drudgery. Okay. Many people will say, Arey, this is too repetitive, too mind numbing, the same thing I have to do. If you look at organizations, that's what happened at the entry level.
Yeah.
Jobs which are repetitive in nature. I think what is happening with all this automation and AI thing coming in, those jobs, okay, would not be there, but it'll be replaced by those jobs which will have things that humans enjoy. Humans want to be creative. Humans want something new to do. Human wants to find solutions. That's what makes us humans, right? Unfortunately, for a very long time, jobs were not giving us that
Space.
opportunity. And since for many years the jobs were about repetitive work, etc., the education system was also not too worried about, building those capabilities which are strengths of all humans. So it was all about, cover a syllabus. Okay, it was not about I have to develop thinking abilities or creative abilities, etc. So the kind of jobs which are coming in are jobs which require core human skills. So it's a time to rejoice.
Okay.
Anxiety should be, have you developed those, core human traits which will be valued in the future? Okay, because certainly the drudgery jobs would not be there. Anxiety should be that if I'm doing my next 4 years of degree or 2 years master's degree, am I developing those traits as part of my education experience or not? That is where the anxiety should really lead into.
Mr. Tandon, now let's look ahead to the times 2026 and beyond. What kind of roles and skills do you believe today's students should actively prepare for?
Number one, I would say always look at the intersection of domain and technology. Okay, that is going to be, so if you're a chemical engineer, look at How can I also learn digital technologies or tech or AI along with that? In BITS Pilani Digital, recognizing that everyone needs to be now technical, okay? The way we have designed our program, people from non-science backgrounds can also join it. Of course, we have created some bridges for them that they need to do it, but not the bridges, not the education the way it used to happen in the school. Highly contextualized for learning enough AI, learning enough technology so that along with that domain, they could really, learn technology and don't have to be an engineer to do that.
Very, very interesting. And also, there is no exclusion now. If you come from a particular stream, doesn't mean that the other side of another stream is inaccessible to you. This is what you are making possible. Now, if this model of online learning succeeds as you envision it, what lasting change do you hope, Mr. Tandon, it will bring to how India thinks about higher education?
See, the way we are envisioning this, I think the first big change we want to see is top tier high quality education should cease to be selection based. It should become more access based. That means anyone should be able to do it. The current models, which I call them as unlimited excellence for a limited few, okay, makes high quality education elite. So with online education offered by top institutions who are worried about what a good education experience is, that is something that's one big shift, which should happen. Second is education would stop becoming a one-time activity. I did my schooling, I did my college, and I'll never learn again. Okay, I think the era we are getting into, okay, the model we are envisioning, the education should become like an operating system. It should always there be with you. And even in BITS Digital, while we offer programs, it doesn't mean you finish that program and you don't upgrade yourself. So that's the second big change, that we want to see as this, really goes up. I think third things is what it changes is what we reward people for. People should not be rewarded for marks. They should be rewarded for mastery. People should not be rewarded for just holding a credential or a degree. They should be rewarded for capability. I think these are the three things, that we would like to change, see it change with the BITS Pilani vision.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Tandon, for coming here and having this insightful conversation with us.
Thank you so much, Preeti. I really enjoyed it.
Well, we also enjoyed it because this was truly thoughtful and insightful. And what we've heard today is a clear shift in how education is being redefined, where online learning is not a compromise, but a carefully designed pathway to relevance, rigor, and real-world readiness. Our sincere thanks once again to Mr. Rajiv Tandon for sharing how thoughtful academic design, strong industry alignment, and student-centric thinking can prepare learners for the future without diluting standards. As students await their results and plan their next steps, one message stands out clearly. The future of education isn't about where you learn, but how well it prepares you for the world ahead. Thank you for watching.
BITS Pilani Digital and News18 present Learning Reimagined.